The sterile beep of the heart monitor shattered the midnight hush like a gunshot in a cathedral. Alex Rivera clutched the chart in his trembling hands, his dark eyes locking onto the flatline that stole Elias Hawthorne's last breath. The man who'd whispered secrets to him in the dim glow of 4 drips, secrets no one else could ever know. As the room plunged into chaos, nurses swarming like shadows, Alex felt the weight of Elias's final gaze. Not on the doctor's barking orders, but on him, a silent promise etched in the air between them, heavier than the diamond ring Elias had slipped into his palm just hours before, disguised as a good luck charm. Rain lashed against the towering glass walls of Hawthorne Memorial Hospital in downtown Manhattan, turning the city lights into smeared watercolors of regret. Alex had come here 5 years ago, a fresh-faced RN from the sun-baked streets of Miami, chasing dreams of stability in the concrete jungle. Now, at 28, he was just another cog in the machine, overworked, underpaid, and invisible to the elite who filled the VIP suites. Elias Hawthorne had changed that, not with fanfare, but with quiet conversations that unraveled Alex like a well-worn sweater. The billionaire banker, felled by a ruthless pancreatic cancer diagnosis at 62, had arrived in Alex's ward like a storm cloud over Wall Street. Commanding, charismatic, with eyes like polished obsidian that saw through boardroom bluffs and bedside pleasantries alike. Their first real exchange happened on a stormy Tuesday, much like this one. Elias, hooked to machines that hummed like judgmental overseers, had waved off the parade of specialists. "Tell me something real," he'd rasped, his voice gravel from chemo. Alex, wiping sweat from his brow after a 12-hour shift, hesitated. Most patients wanted stats, assurances, lies wrapped in scrubs. But Elias? He craved truth. "I'm scared," Alex admitted, sinking into the vinyl chair. "Of losing people. Of not being enough." Elias's laugh was a low rumble, cutting through the rain's tattoo. "Kid, that's the human condition. But you're more than enough. You've got fire in those veins. Don't let this place snuff it out." From there, it bloomed. Late nights became confessions. Elias spoke of building Hawthorne Global from a dingy Brooklyn loft in the 80s, navigating the AIDS crisis as a closeted gay man in a world that devoured vulnerability. "I hid who I was to climb those ladders," he'd say, fingers tracing the 4 line like it was a noose. "Loved fiercely, lost harder. My partner, Theo, gone too soon in 92. No eulogies, just echoes." Alex shared his own scars. Coming out at 17 in a family that chose silence over solidarity, the grind of nursing school on scholarships and side gigs, the fleeting hookups in dimly lit bars that left him hollow. "I want more than survival," Alex murmured one dawn, as Elias dozed. "I want to matter." Elias made him matter. Small gestures at first. A leather-bound journal slipped into Alex's locker with notes on poetry from Whitman to Ocean Vuong. Tickets to a Broadway revival of Angels in America, where they sat in the shadows, hands brushing accidentally on purpose. Elias's touch lingered, electric, but always pulled back. "You're young, Alex. This city's a meat grinder. I won't drag you into my grave." Yet the pull was magnetic. In stolen moments, Elias would cup Alex's face, thumb brushing his jaw, eyes holding a depth that spoke of what words couldn't. "I see you. I choose you." The boardroom betrayal came swift as a margin call. Hawthorne Global's C-suite, sycophants in bespoke suits, circled like vultures the moment Elias weakened. His nephew, Victor Hawthorne, a slick 40-something with a trust fund smile and a homophobic streak wider than the Hudson, led the charge. Victor had always resented his uncle's shadow, the confirmed bachelor, who built an empire on instinct while Victor coasted on nepotism. Whispers flew. Elias was incompetent, delusional from the drugs. They pushed for conservatorship, eyeing the $47 billion conglomerate like a ripe plum. Alex overheard it all, fetching meds from the nurse's station. Victor's voice, oily and sharp. "Uncle's lost it, raving about some orderly like it's Shakespeare. We need to lock this down before he tanks the stock." Alex's blood boiled. He stormed into Elias's room that night, rain-slicked and furious. "They're carving you up alive," he spat, pacing the linoleum. Elias, pale as moonlight, beckoned him close. Let them. I've got my will airtight. And you're in it. Not scraps, the keys. Alex recoiled. What? Elias, no. I'm nobody. Your family. My family died with Theo. Elias cut in, voice steel. Victor's a parasite. The board? Wolves in sheep's wool. You, Alex, you're the heart I thought I'd buried. Take it. Build something better. He pressed the ring into Alex's palm again, this time letting their fingers entwine. The kiss that followed was inevitable, soft, desperate, tasting of salt and unspoken tomorrows. It was their first, and in that moment, the world narrowed to the press of lips, the shared breath that defied the machine's cold rhythm. Weeks blurred into a haze of treatments and tender mercies. Alex advocated fiercely, demanding second opinions, clashing with Victor's planted admins who accidentally delayed pain meds. Elias weakened, but his spirit flared. One crisp autumn afternoon, as leaves painted Central Park gold, they wheeled him out for fresh air. Under a canopy of maples, Elias proposed, not with pomp, but with the ring. Marry me not for papers but for us. In our hearts, if not the law. Alex, tears carving tracks down his cheeks, whispered yes. They exchanged vows by the Bethesda fountain, witnesses to none but the wind and wandering tourists, sealing it with a kiss that echoed Walt Whitman's, "We two boys together clinging." But shadows lengthened. Victor's spies caught wind, grainy photos from a nurse's illicit phone, capturing that park embrace. Blackmail followed, anonymous emails to Alex's supervisors, branding him unprofessional, exploiting the vulnerable. HR summoned him, faces stern. Mr. Rivera, allegations of impropriety. We can't have scandal in VIP. Alex fought back, voice steady. It's love, not leverage. Check the logs. I've saved his life more times than you've refilled your coffee. Suspended pending review, he returned to Elias's side under the radar, smuggling in empanadas from his abuela's recipes, reading aloud from Giovanni's room until Elias's eyelids fluttered shut. The climax crashed on a frigid December eve, snow blanketing the city like a shroud. Elias rallied one last time, summoning his lawyers to the bedside. Alex stood sentinel as the will was read aloud, Elias's baritone frail but unyielding. To Alexander Rivera, my executor, trustee, and heir apparent, controlling interest in Hawthorne Global, the penthouse on 5th, the vineyard in Napa. Not out of pity but partnership. Build bridges where I built walls. Gasps rippled from the video-linked boardroom. Victor's face twisted, livid, feral. This is fraud. He's brainwashed. Some gold-digging spick playing nurse. The slur landed like a slap. Alex surged forward, but Elias's hand clamped his wrist. Enough, the tycoon breathed. Victor, you're out. Security. As feeds cut, Elias turned to Alex, eyes glistening. Forgive me. For the mess. For the hiding. Their foreheads touched. A final communion. Hours later, the monitors wailed. Elias slipped away at 2:17 a.m., Alex cradling him, whispering, I love you. Wait for me on the other side. Grief was a tidal wave, but betrayal's undertow dragged harder. Victor didn't slink away. He lawyered up, filing suits alleging undue influence, coercion, even faked medical records. Tabloids feasted. Nurse steals billionaire's fortune. Gay scandal rocks Wall Street. Protests erupted outside the hospital. Bigots waving signs, allies countering with rainbows. Alex, holed up in a cramped Queens walk-up, fielded death threats alongside interview requests. His family, distant even in Miami, urged him to settle and vanish. Mijo, this ain't our world. His mother pleaded over crackling video. Take the money and run. But Alex couldn't run. Elias's ring burned on his finger like a beacon. He stepped into the fray, retaining Elias's shark of a counsel, a no-nonsense lesbian named Rita who'd clerked for RBG. Board meetings became battlegrounds. Alex in ill-fitting suits donated from Elias's closet, facing down sneers. I'm not here to play tycoon, he'd declare. voice honed from bedside vigils. I'm here to honor a man who gave everything for this firm, and for people like us. He pushed reforms, diversity mandates, LGBTQ plus funding arms, pro bono financial literacy for underserved communities. Stocks dipped, then soared as millennials flocked to the woke bank. The deepest cut came from within. Midway through the proxy war, Alex discovered Rita's files. Elias had known of Victor's embezzlement for years, siphoning funds to offshore lovers, funding hate groups under the table. Elias had shielded him, out of blood loyalty, even as it ate at his soul. He betrayed himself for family, Alex realized. Alone in the echoing penthouse, Elias's cologne still faint on the linens. Rage warred with sorrow. Had Elias ever fully trusted him? The doubt festered, mirroring the isolation of those early coming-out nights. Redemption arrived unbidden, in the form of Theo's ghost. Sifting through Elias's attic archives, Alex unearthed letters, yellowed pages from the 80s, Theo's looping script pouring out love amid the plague's terror. You hide to survive, but don't forget to live, one read. Inspired, Alex hosted a gala at the Met. Not for financiers, but survivors. AIDS activists, queer youth, immigrants like his parents who'd fled Cuba's shores. Victor crashed it, drunk and desperate, flanked by PI goons. You think you can erase me? Uncle's pet project ends tonight. The room hushed. Alex stepped forward, not with fists, but words. Elias built this empire on secrets, his, yours, ours. But secrets kill. Victor, your thefts, exposed. Your hates, your own prison. Walk away, or we'll drag you into the light. Flashbulbs popped as Victor lunged, but security, diverse, loyal, hauled him out. Cheers erupted, a chorus of reclaimed voices. In the aftermath, as confetti rained like cherry blossoms, Alex felt Elias's presence. A warmth in his chest, the ring glinting under chandeliers. Months turned to a year. The lawsuits crumbled. Victor fled to Monaco, disgraced. Hawthorne Global thrived under Alex's vision. Branches in Harlem offering microloans to queer entrepreneurs. Apps democratizing wealth for the marginalized. Alex found love again, tentatively, in Javier, a barista-turned-activist with a laugh like summer thunder. Their first date, a picnic in that same Central Park, under the maples now bare and resilient. You carry the world, Javier said, lacing fingers. But you don't have to alone. Alex smiled, tracing the rings band. I don't. Elias taught me that. Yet humanism's truest measure lay in quiet acts. Alex visited Elias's grave in Woodlawn Cemetery, a modest stone amid marble mausoleums. Elias Hawthorne, builder of empires, lover of truths. He left a single red rose, whispering, "You were my empire. Thank you for seeing me." As spring thawed the ground, Alex walked away lighter. Not unscathed, but unbroken. In America's vast tapestry of triumphs and heartaches, he'd woven his thread. A nurse who became a guardian. A lover who chose light over legacy's long shadow. The city pulsed on, rain-slicked streets echoing with possibility. And somewhere, in the ether between boardrooms and bedrooms, Elias smiled. The gavel's echo still rang in Alex's ears as he emerged from the federal courthouse in Lower Manhattan. The summer sun of 2026 beating down like an interrogation light. Victor's appeal had been a farce, 3 days of perjured witnesses and doctored emails. But justice, slow as she was, had groundstone. Dismissed with prejudice. The judge had intoned, her gavel a punctuation on years of venom. Reporters swarmed the steps, microphones thrusting like bayonets. Mr. Rivera, does this make you the king of Wall Street? Any comment on the gay agenda reshaping Hawthorne? Alex paused, Javier's hand steady in his, a quiet anchor amid the frenzy. At 30, he'd aged a decade in dog years, fine lines etching his olive skin, but his eyes burned brighter, tempered steel. No kings here, he said, voice carrying over the din, just a man honoring a promise. Elias Hawthorne built bridges to the future. I'm just making sure they don't collapse under hate. Flashbulbs blinded, but Javier's squeeze grounded him. They slipped into a waiting town car, the city blurring into streaks of yellow cabs and steam-grilled hot dogs. Back at the penthouse, floor-to-ceiling windows framed the Empire State like a sentinel. Alex shed his tie, collapsing onto the leather sectional that still smelled faintly of Elias's pipe tobacco. "You were magnificent," Javier murmured, pouring 2 glasses of Napa Red from the vineyard's 18 vintage, Elias's last good year. Javier was 26, with tousled black curls and a poet's soul. Met at that Met Gala when he'd handed Alex a flyer for his zine on queer Lating's history. Their romance was unhurried, built on late-night debates over Baldwin essays and dawn runs along the High Line, where Javier's laughter chased away ghosts. But tonight, victory tasted bittersweet. Alex swirled his wine, staring at the ring, now joined by a simple gold band from Javier, exchanged in a quiet ceremony at City Hall last fall. "I keep waiting for the other shoe," he confessed. "Elias trusted me with everything, and I almost lost it to Victor's spite. What if I'd folded?" Javier knelt, cupping Alex's face, the same gesture Elias once used. "You didn't. That's the man I love. The one who turns pain into purpose." Purpose had become Alex's North Star. As CEO, he'd rebranded Hawthorne not as a monolith, but a mosaic, Hawthorne Forward, with initiatives like the Elias Fund, granting $10 million annually to LGBTQ plus health clinics from San Francisco's Castro to Atlanta's Black gay meccas. Board diversity soared, 50% queer, half people of color, sparking backlash from fossilized investors who decried woke capitalism. Alex welcomed the fight, testifying before Congress on financial equity, his Miami accent a defiant melody in marble halls. Yet cracks spiderwebbed beneath the gloss. Sleepless nights brought dreams of Elias, vivid, visceral. The tycoon's hand in his during a chemo fog, whispering, "You're my redemption, Alex. Don't let them dim your light." Waking drenched, Alex would trace the journal Elias gifted, its pages now filled with his own entries. Strategies for inclusive lending, letters to his younger self on resilience. Javier understood, never pressing, but one evening, as they cooked arroz con pollo in the cavernous kitchen, he broached it gently. "This place, it's a museum to him, beautiful but heavy. Ever think of making space for us?" The question hung, savory steam curling between them. Alex set down the wooden spoon, heart twisting. The penthouse was Elias's sanctuary, Art Deco fixtures. Walls lined with first editions from Leaves of Grass to Fun Home. Selling felt like erasure. Staying, like stasis. "I don't know how to let go without losing him," Alex admitted, voice cracking. Javier pulled him close, heartbeat sinking. "You don't lose him. You carry him. Here." He tapped Alex's chest. "Build something new on the foundation." That conversation ignited change. Over the next months, Alex gutted the guest wing, transforming it into a community hub. Writing workshops for queer youth, therapy sessions for AIDS survivors' kin. The gala that fall drew hundreds. Drag queens from Bushwick, bankers from the village, raising funds for a scholarship in Theo's name. As speeches flowed, Alex took the stage, Javier beaming from the front row. "Elias taught me love isn't possession," he said, ring catching the light. "It's legacy. And tonight we pass the torch." Applause thundered, but backstage, a shadow loomed. Rita, ever the hawk, pulled him aside. Anonymous tip, Victor's back. From exile, whispering to hedge funds. Buyout rumors. Alex's stomach nodded. Victor, stripped of shares but not grudge, was rallying dissidents. Old guard promising stability sans the nurse's rainbow crusade. Sleepless again, Alex pored over filings in Elias's old study, the leather chair molding to him like memory. Dawn found him at the window, skyline a jagged promise. "What would you do?" he murmured to the void. Elias's answer came circuitously, via a forgotten safe. A videotape labeled, "For the Storm." Grainy footage flickered on the ancient player, Elias, pre-diagnosis, vigorous in a polo shirt, addressing the camera like a confessional. "If you're watching, pup, it's rough. Victor's venom runs deep, betrayed me once, with Theo's memory, selling stories to rags for a quick buck. I forgave foolishly. Don't you? Fight smart, love harder. And remember, empires fall, but hearts endure. Tears blurred the screen as Elias blew a kiss. You're my forever. Fortified, Alex struck first. He leaked Victor's offshore ledger's irrefutable read-sourced to the New York Times, igniting a firestorm. Hawthorne airs hidden hate. Embezzlement funds anti-LGBTQ causes. Victor's Monaco villa became a press siege. Extradition loomed. In the boardroom melee that followed, Alex faced the mutineers head-on. You want stability? Bet on the future, not fossils. Elias built this on grit, queer grit, immigrant grit. Join or jump. Most joined. The few who jumped sold low. Hawthorne stock hit all-time highs. Victor's empire of spite crumbled, ending in a plea deal. Restitution? Community service at a pride center. Poetic, Alex thought as news broke. But victory's afterglow faded into introspection. Walking Javier home from a West Village cafe one crisp October night, leaves crunching underfoot, Alex stopped beneath a string-lit awning. Marry me. For real this time, vows. Cake. The works. Javier's eyes widened, then softened. Thought you'd never ask. Their wedding was intimate, humanistic. A rooftop affair at the vineyard, vines heavy with promise. Alex's family flew up, his mother dabbing tears as she pinned a corsage of white orchids. You make us proud, Mijo. Finally. Toasts flowed. Rita's wry wit, survivors' stories of Elias's quiet philanthropies. As Javier and Alex danced under stars, slow and sure, Alex felt closure's gentle tide. Elias wasn't gone. He was the rhythm in this new beat. Yet life's drama never fully resolves. Months later, a letter arrived, postmarked Miami, in his abuela's shaky script. Come home. Time to heal old wounds. Alex booked the flight, Javier beside him. In the humid embrace of Little Havana, amid domino games and café con leches, Alex shared his story, not as triumph, but tapestry. His father, once silent, gripped his shoulder. We failed you, but we're here now. Forgiveness, Alex learned, was the ultimate inheritance. Back in New York, Hawthorne Forward expanded. Global arms in London and Tokyo, but roots in community, free clinics, mentorships. Alex mentored a young nurse, Mateo, wide-eyed from the Bronx. It's not about the money, he'd say. It's the lives. Mateo nodded, echoing Alex's early fire. One winter solstice, snow dusting the penthouse balcony, Alex and Javier lit a Yule log. Elias's tradition, unearthed from letters. Flames danced, casting shadows of three. To legacies, Javier toasted. Alex clinked glasses, heart full. To love. The city slept, but Alex dreamed awake. Of boys clinging in the storm, empires rebuilt from whispers. And in that dream, Elias nodded approval. Autumn's palette had deepened to crimson and gold when the call came, shattering the fragile piece Alex had stitched over his scars. He was in the vineyard office, a converted barn overlooking rolling hills that Elias had once called my escape from the suits. Reviewing quarterly reports with Javier, who now headed the non-profit arm. The phone buzzed, Rita's name flashing like a warning flare. Alex, brace. It's Victor. He's terminal. Liver failure, self-inflicted from the booze and bad choices. Wants to see you. The words landed like frost on sun-warmed grapes. Victor Hawthorne, nemesis, betrayer, the specter who'd haunted depositions and nightmares. Now a dying man begging audience? Alex's pulse thrummed, a war drum of pity and fury. Why me? He demanded, pacing the oak floors etched with boot prints from harvest hands. Rita's sigh crackled the line. Says it's family business. And legally, he's got no one else. Could contest the will one last time if you stonewall. Javier watched, concern etching his brow, as Alex weighed the venom. Family. The word twisted like barbed wire. Elias had clung to it despite the cuts, forgiving Victor's youthful indiscretions. Outing a cousin in the 90s for leverage, pocketing petty cash from Theo's memorial fund. Blood's thicker. Elias would muse, eyes distant. But Alex, his blood ran with survivor's resilience, not enabler's blindness. Yet denial felt like Elias's mistake repeated. Fine, he relented. But on my terms. Neutral ground. They met in a sterile midtown hospice, the kind reserved for the fallen mighty, views of the Chrysler building mocking Victor's tumble. He looked hollowed. Once broad shoulders slumped under a threadbare robe, his trust fund jawline gaunt, eyes bloodshot but piercing. No entourage, just a male nurse, irony's wink, adjusting the morphine drip. Victor's gaze latched on Alex entering, a flicker of the old arrogance warring with defeat. You came. Figured the golden boy would send lackeys. Alex sat, Javier a silent sentinel by the door. I'm no boy, Victor, and this isn't gloating. What do you want? The room hummed with monitors, a duet to their standoff. Victor coughed, wet and ragged, then rasped, absolution, or as close as a hawthorn gets. He gestured weakly to a nightstand drawer. Read it, then decide. Inside, a ledger, not financial, but confessional, pages of scrawled regrets. Victor's script spilled the rot, jealousy festering since boyhood, watching Uncle Elias command rooms while he played second fiddle. The '92 betrayal, tipping off tabloids about Theo's illness for a scoop payout that bought his first Porsche. The embezzlement, funneled to fringe groups spewing the hate he'd internalized. A gay man ashamed of his own mirror. I hated him for living loud in secret, Victor wrote. Hated myself more for hiding. Alex's throat tightened, the words blurring. Here was the architect of his hell. Not monster, but man, malformed by fear. Javier squeezed his knee under the chair. A reminder. Humanity's messy. Why now? Alex asked, voice low. Victor's laugh dissolved into hacks. Cancer's the great equalizer. Strips the bullshit. Elias forgave me once. I squandered it. Don't make my mistake. Alex, you're what he saw in me. Potential untapped. The olive branch trembled. Alex thought of his own shadows. The resentment toward his parents' silence. The nights he'd lashed at Javier over imagined slights. Betrayal wasn't one way. It echoed. I can't absolve you, he said finally. That's Elias's grace, not mine. But I can witness. And maybe start fresh. Victor nodded, tears carving paths through stubble. Tell the board, settle my debts from the vineyard fund. For him. They left as dusk painted the skyline bruised purple. Javier's arm around Alex's waist. In the cab downtown, silence stretched. Then Javier broke it. That took guts. Proud of you. Alex leaned into him, the city's pulse syncing with his own. Guts or ghosts? Feels like unfinished business. Javier kissed his temple. Both. That's love's long game. The encounter rippled outward. A stone in still waters. Alex greenlit Victor's restitution. $2 million to queer youth shelters. Framed as anonymous donor. Whispers in the press speculated. But Alex let truth simmer unspoken. Internally, it unearthed doubts. Was he too soft? Like Elias? Or wise, forging cycle's end? Board tensions flared anew. A faction, Victor's old allies, pushing back on the Theo scholarships, deeming them divisive. Stick to bonds, not bonds of affinity. One silver-haired exec sneered in a tense all-hands. Alex's response was fire-tempered calm. He invited them to the Castro for a site visit, San Francisco's beating heart, where rainbow flags snapped like defiant sails. Amid murals of Harvey Milk and throngs at the Mint Bar, he shared stories. A trans teen funded through college, a Latino couple buying their first home via microloans. This is the empire Elias dreamed. Not vaults, but voices. Scales tipped. Dissenters softened. One even outing his own closeted youth over post-visit bourbons. But emotion's undercurrent pulled deeper. Christmas approached, the penthouse aglow with a tree trimmed in Elias's heirlooms. Glass orbs from Berlin, tinsel from Theo's era. Javier strung lights, humming salsa carols, but Alex drifted, ring heavy. A nightmare jolted him awake. Elias drowning in monitors, Victor's face morphing into his own. Betrayer and betrayed entwined. Dawn found him on the balcony, snowflakes melting on skin. Javier joined, wrapping a blanket around them. "Talk to me," he urged. Words tumbled. The fear of becoming Victor, hardened by hurt, lashing out. Elias loved through it. "I don't know if I can." Javier's eyes, steady as sea glass, held his. "You already do. Look at the vineyard hiring ex-cons, teaching viticulture to at-risk kids. That's you weaving redemption." They made love then, slow and affirming, bodies a map of scars and stars. Afterward, tangled in sheets, Alex whispered, "Let's adopt. Give a kid what we didn't have, unconditional." The decision bloomed into action. Agency visits, home studies, a whirlwind of paperwork and parenting classes. They chose Luca, a wiry 8-year-old from the Bronx foster system, with Alex's dark curls and Javier's mischievous grin. His file. Abandoned by a father lost to opioids, mother deported. First meeting at a park, Luca eyed them warily over a swing set, clutching a battered Spider-Man. "You rich guys want a kid for show?" he challenged, street-smart beyond years. Alex knelt, heart cracking. "Nah, we want a family. Messy, real. Like superheroes, saving each other." Luca's tough shell fissured. By spring, papers signed, they brought him home. Chaos ensued, serial explosions, bedtime stories from Stonewall Kids editions. Luca's questions pierced. "Why me?" Alex, tucking him in, echoed Elias. "Because you matter. Fire in your veins, Mijo." Externally, storms brewed. A market crash, crypto bubble burst, hammered Hawthorne, shares plummeting 22%. Pundits crowed, "Nurse CEO's folly. Too heart, no head." Alex rallied, pivoting to green bonds for climate refugees, many queer migrants fleeing persecution. "Empires adapt," he told CNBC, Javier and Luca cheering from off-camera. Recovery came swifter than skeptics swore, bolstered by allies. A viral TikTok from Luca. "My dad's fixed the world. Your turn." Victor's passing came quietly in July, obit buried in Variety. He'd pivoted to indie films in exile, producing a doc on closet Hollywood. No funeral. Ashes scattered in the Hudson, per his note to Alex. "Float free. Sorry." Alex mourned not the man, but the could-have-been brother-in-law, toasting with Javier at sunset. To mending. As leaves turned, Luca's first school play, The Laramie Project, drew tears. Alex, in the audience, felt Elias's whisper, "You're enough." The curtain fell. Applause rose. Outside, under harvest moon, family entwined. Drama's arc bent toward light. Betrayals bridged. Loves layered. Human, achingly so. Years folded like well-worn pages. 2030 dawning crisp and electric. The world a palimpsest of progress and peril. Alex Rivera Hawthorne, at 35, surveyed his domain from the Hawthorne Forward headquarters, a gleaming eco-tower in Hudson Yards, its facade etched with verses from queer poets. No longer just a nurse, but architect of equity, he'd steered the firm through recessions and rights revolutions, assets swelling to $62 billion while souls mended in tandem. Javier, his co-conspirator in Life and Ledgers, headed global outreach. Luca, now 13, navigated middle school with activist zeal, organizing bake sales for trans rights. Yet romance's flame, once inferno, simmered to hearth glow, comfortable, but craving rekindle. Their anniversary approached, 15th since vows, and Alex plotted surprise. A road trip tracing Elias's roots, from Brooklyn's brownstones to Napa's vines. A pilgrimage of pasts. But life, ever the dramatist, scripted detours. Encrypted email pinged. Hawthorne archives breach. Elias's private files, Theo's letters, your intimacies. Bitter, unknown. $5 million or public. Ice flooded Alex's veins. The hacker's trove. Digitized bedside tapes, Elias's confessions. Their park proposal caught on security cams. Not just scandal fodder, but sacred love's raw underbelly exposed for sport. Rita, retired but recalled, stormed the war room. Russian syndicate, likely. Or Victor's ghost, old contacts. Javier's face paled. Luca, eavesdropping, burst in. Dads, we fight. Like superheroes. The threat coiled suspense. 48 hours to pay, or leaks to dark web dens and dawn raids on page 6. Alex's mind raced, betrayal's echo, Victor's playbook redux. Sleepless in the study, Elias's portrait gazing down, oils capturing his wry smile. Alex unearthed the tycoon's contingency. A shadow vault in Zurich, black budget countermeasures for corporate espionage. Trust no one fully, Elias's memo read. But love? That's your vault. Leveraging it, Alex traced the bidder. Not foes abroad, but closer. A disgruntled exporter, Harlan, ousted for harassment, vendetta masked as justice. Sting Operation Swift. Rita's team posed as buyers, SWAT synced for arrest. Midnight takedown in a Chelsea loft, servers seized, Harlan cuffed mid-gloat. You queers ruin everything, he spat. Alex, witnessing via feed, leaned in. No, Harlan. Fear does. Get help. Relief washed, but emotions' floodgates cracked. The breach unearthed forgotten files. Elias's unpublished memoir, Shadows on the Ledger. A tender chronicle of closeted climbs. Theo's laughter in lofts. Quiet donations to ACT UP amid 80s denial. Alex published it pseudonymously, proceeds to AIDS research. Reviews hailed it a queer wolf of Wall Street with soul. Javier read aloud by fireplace, voice thick. This is us, amor. Echoes. The trip proceeded. A bomb. Brooklyn first. Dumbo walks where Elias hawked bonds from a pushcart. Luca gobbling knishes while Alex spun tales of Uncle Eli's hustle. Napa climaxed in vineyard vespers. Sun dipping like molten gold. Grapes heavy as heartaches. They scattered petals at Elias's memorial stone, Luca's small hand in theirs. He'd like you, kid, Alex said. Luca grinned. Duh. I'm awesome. Back home, climax yielded to catharsis. A winter storm blanketed Manhattan, power flickering like old reels. Candlelit, family huddled, stories swapped. Javier's Cuban exile, Alex's Miami monsoons, Luca's foster fables. Laughter laced tears. Vulnerability, the truest romance. We almost lost this, Javier murmured, tracing Alex's ring. But we didn't. Their kiss, deep and renewed, sealed it. Love not as blaze but bedrock. Humanism's denouement unfolded in ripples. Hawthorne Forward launched Elias Echoes, AI-driven advisors for marginalized dreamers, from Bronx barbers to Bronx baristas. Alex testified at the UN, Voice Global. Wealth without worth is weight. Equity is oxygen. Protests met progress. Bigots at pride, but throngs larger, rainbows arching over marches. Luca's bar mitzvah, blended traditions. A nod to Javier's lapsed Judaism. Drew kin from coasts. Alex's parents, silvered and softened, danced with Abuela, who'd flown up bearing flan. Toasts toasted bridges. To seeing each other, truly. Afterward, on the High Line, Luca confided, Dad Alex, you think Uncle Eli's proud? Alex knelt as with Victor years back. Every day, Mijo. And you? You're our pride. As decades beckoned, Alex reflected in quiet hours. Journals filling, ring polished. Betrayals? Forged strength. Losses? Lent light. Elias's empire wasn't glass towers, but glass ceilings shattered. For nurses nursing dreams. Lovers loving loud. Families forged in fire. One equinox eve, skyline aglow, Alex and Javier stood balcony-bound. Luca asleep within. What's next? Javier asked, head on shoulder. Alex smiled, Elias's whisper in wind. Live. Everything. Together. And so they did in America's grand, gritty narrative, where nurses inherit not just fortunes, but futures. Hearts endure. Love, the ultimate ledger.